Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of UA Eats. I'm UA and I am still in the city of brotherly love in Philadelphia, and I am outside of the famous Reading Terminal Market. Not Reading Terminal, that's a common tourist mistake. Reading Terminal Market, and this is a pretty large and pretty extensive and pretty nice food hall that would rival even Chelsea Market. I would actually argue that it's superior to Chelsea Market. Chelsea Market may be bigger in size, in scale, but Reading Terminal, it's not as big building-wise. The restaurants are closer together, but I feel like they're generally better in quality. Like, I feel like Chelsea Market is a little bit tourist trappy. Other than Los Tacos #1, I feel like the restaurants in there are pretty hit or miss. Now, while there's tons of great stuff in there, there's everything from Italian food, Mexican food, Chinese food, and there's even Amish food in there. So you don't have to go all the way to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. You can just, go to Reading Terminal next time you're in the Philly area. But we are here today for what some people say is the best sandwich in all of America. Not just the best sandwich in Philly, that's already a huge accomplishment, but it was voted the best sandwich in America. Now, that was a long time ago, to be fair. But still, the way these awards work, if they award you the best sandwich in America one year, they're not gonna give it to you 10 years in a row, right? They're gonna switch it up. It's just like the MVP award in basketball. They're not gonna give it to LeBron James every year. Sometimes they gotta give it to Derrick Rose or to Kevin Durant just to switch things up. But anyways, I remember eating at Tommy DiNic's, also sometimes just called DiNic's. I think actually some of their other locations are just called DiNic's, but I remember really liking it back in the day. Some people say that DiNic's has kind of fallen off though. Some people say that it's not quite what it used to be. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try it today, see if it still is deserving of the title of best sandwich in America, or we'll see if it's fallen off and if it's coasting off its hype as many other places are. So let's check it out. Thank you. Okay, so I know it might not look as impressive right now due to it being not even remotely as crowded as Chelsea Market, but it's because it's the morning right now. It's 9:30. It's not lunchtime, which is more peak time. When you're a content creator, you gotta stick to your schedule whenever you can, so you can't always film exactly at optimal times. You just kind of have to film whenever you have time to. But that actually might be better. It might be better for it to be less crowded because it'll be easier for me to show you what they got here. Now, as you can see, they have ethnic foods like falafel, shawarma, and I hear good things about this Greek restaurant here, Olympia. I hear this is a pretty solid gyro spot if that's your jam. Now, like I said, they offer some Amish foods, some Pennsylvania Dutch food. So this place here, Hatley Deli, they got Amish roll butter, as well as some deli meats. The quality of their meats are not looking too bad. Pretty well seasoned, thick slices of bacon, thick slabs of bacon. As you can see, it's 9:30, but the place is actually kind of picking up. So it's probably gonna get more and more crowded. Fresh lobster, fresh seafood, stuff that I can't eat because I'm allergic. Some fresh looking shrimp though, nonetheless. I do not see any of the lobsters on display anywhere, but the fish all looks relatively fresh to me. Fresh pretzels being made. Honestly, people say New York is a pretzel town, but it really isn't. I mean, pretzels in New York, I'm sure it once was a New York thing, but now pretzels in New York are very touristy. But in Philly and Pennsylvania are the place to be for pretzels. It's a big part of the culture here. So maybe I'll snag one of these before I head out. Look at them, they're getting prepared to be, I think the way it works is, I think they might be boiled and then baked, or maybe just baked straight up. I'm actually not exactly sure how pretzel making works, but I'm sure whatever they're dipping it in there is pretty vital to the process. This is the Amish place that I had in mind. Dutch eating place. So you don't have to go all the way to Lancaster County. You can just come here and get yourself some Lancaster, Pennsylvania Dutch cuisine. And in the back there, you see an Amish or perhaps a Mennonite woman cooking everything from scratch. I'm not gonna show her face just to respect the religious beliefs they have to not be filmed. I did my best not to catch any of their faces on camera, but if something slipped in, my apologies. While I do want to respect their religious beliefs, they're also in a public place and people have phones and cameras nowadays, so to some extent, as long as I did my best, they can't really expect much more than that, right? And this place is definitely on my list. And many people have commented saying that this place, Herschel's, is as good as any Jewish deli in New York, if not better. Some people have told me that this place, Herschel's, is on Katz's level. Not this time. I mean, there's way too many things to review and to eat, so we'll have to save this for next time. I do love me a good pastrami and corned beef sandwich, but next time we're in Philly, we'll definitely be back in Philly soon to film more stuff, because we've hardly even scratched the surface of everything there is to eat here. But right next to Herschel's is DiNic's roast pork, and this is where we came to eat. Awarded best sandwich in America many years ago. Many people still think it is, but many people think it's not anymore. Honestly, lucky me, it's before 10 a.m. right now. When this place gets crowded, this line will stretch completely around this restaurant, like on both directions. They'll have two lines just to try to expedite it. And yeah, because it's early in the morning, there's zero line as opposed to two lines. So, you know what? I drove all the way down from North Jersey to try the best sandwich in America. So let's just get right to it. Hi, you guys open? I'll go with a roast pork sandwich.
Anything on it?
Broccoli rabe.
Cheese?
Cheese, yes.
Do any hot or sweet peppers?
I'll do sweet peppers. Sounds good.
Want hot or sweet peppers?
Just want to show you guys the menu real quick for the prices. Okay, 13 bucks, but for me it's 16 because I think I might have added some peppers. So not the cheapest sandwich, but thank you. They also sell shirts here. I think my brother used to own a DiNic's shirt back in the day. My brother was a big fan of this place. I liked it too, but I was more of a cheesesteak guy than a roast pork sandwich guy, but maybe this will turn me into a believer again. So, found the well-lit table. Let's dive in. And guys, if you're willing to eat at sort of less conventional hours, right now it's 10 a.m. and like you have some people trickling in, but for the most part, it's not really that crowded right now. This place can really get shoulder to shoulder during peak time. It's often ideal to have someone with you so that they can reserve a table for you while you order. Otherwise, it's gonna be tough to find somewhere to eat. But yeah, just having all the food stands all around you, the crowds of people walking by while you eat. I don't know, some people consider Reading Terminal very touristy, and I guess it kind of is, but locals do come here too. You know, locals will also eat here. So enough chat, let's dive in to the DiNic's sandwich. I intentionally let it sit for a bit in the wrapper so that the heat kind of steams the bread a little bit and makes it a little bit softer. And all right, this is the sandwich. And they asked me if I wanted sweet peppers or hot peppers. I typically did not add peppers on it back in the day. Maybe that was a mistake. But no matter what, if you come here, you have to get broccoli rabe. You just gotta. And I think the pork is looking a little bit less moist than I remembered it, but hopefully it will taste good. The broccoli rabe, ooh, is looking super fresh, super leafy, super green, super juicy and wet. Excited to try the addition of the sweet peppers. Broccoli rabe is something that may not be familiar to many people, but the best way I can explain it is kind of like broccoli. Not really, it's kind of like broccoli, but in like long strand form. Like it's almost like broccoli and I don't know, I guess like parsley combined sort of. Not like it tastes like parsley, but I mean like its shape. And the bread is pretty soft. You know, it doesn't quite have the chewiness or doughiness that the Amoroso rolls have. This one looks a little bit kind of overly flaky, and it kind of reminds me of bread that you get at the grocery store and not the good kind. But we will give it a shot though, so best sandwich in America. Let's dive right in. Oops, if we can separate it. There you go, we have separated our half. So let's do. Not a bad looking sandwich, right? It's okay. I feel like it's not as good as I remembered. I remember really, really enjoying this place back in the day. I don't know, something about it doesn't quite taste the way it used to. Let's try removing these peppers. I think the peppers are kind of a mistake. They're very sweet and watery, and they kind of cover up the taste of the pork. So I wouldn't recommend getting them. This is the way I used to get this sandwich back in the day, with just pork and broccoli rabe. That way you get some vegetable, you taste the pure flavor of the pork, but you get some vegetable thrown in as well. It's not bad. I think if it didn't have the label of best sandwich in America from many years ago, I may have had more tempered expectations. The sandwich is okay. Like, it's a decent sandwich, but it's not super mind-blowing. Now, the sharp provolone that they use is definitely pretty good. I think they're still hand slicing this from fresh blocks of provolone cheese. The cheese just tastes so good and goes perfectly with the flavor of the pork. It's a really sharp cheese, so it has a really strong flavor, almost a bit of a funky flavor, but I really, really dig it. The broccoli rabe, too, is pretty solid. Tastes pretty fresh. It tastes pretty much just the way it looks. In fact, let's test that hypothesis. Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's a little bit bitter, but I think that's the way it's just supposed to be. Sort of like how you have hot and sour soup in Chinese food. In this case, it's like you're combining that bitterness with the sharp, funky cheese and then with the savory pork, and it's supposed to all come together. Unfortunately, this is a roast pork sandwich, though. It's not a broccoli rabe sandwich or a cheese sandwich. You know, it's not like a grilled cheese with just some pork thrown in it for flavor. Unfortunately, the pork here is just kind of dry. I mean, I know with the lighting, it looks like it has a shine to it, but trust me, it's not quite as juicy as it looks. Like, it's a little bit on the dry end. It used to be way more juicy, a little bit more fatty as well. I think the main issue with this pork is that I think they just need some more of the jus on the pork just to give it like a saucy, moist flavor. Actually, those ones in the back almost look a little bit better, but some other pieces of the pork in front are quite dry. I don't know. Let's take another bite, I guess, just to make sure we're covering all our bases. Yeah, I'm sorry. That pork is just incredibly dry. I think more au jus would help as well, but it's just super dry, the pork itself, and I think sauce would only help to cover it up as opposed to ameliorate the problem. I was unfortunately right about the bread. I mean, I don't remember this place ever having super good bread. Like, I think the bread was never the focus here, but this bread really is just like ShopRite quality bread. You know, like when you really, really need a roll for something you're making at home, so you go to ShopRite and you buy one of the pre-packaged rolls they have, or a roll from their bakery, and you're like, heck yeah, I got a freshly baked roll. But no, it's always disappointing. It's always way too fluffy, way too airy, and just kind of like cheap in its crust. And that's unfortunately what this bread is. It's just a kind of like a cheap grocery store roll. Maybe they were able to get by with this back then when the quality of the pork was better. But now, like when the pork is kind of no longer great, it just makes all the other flaws more apparent, such as probably the peppers here. So, I don't know, guys. I mean, they say best sandwich in America. It definitely doesn't taste like the best sandwich in America to me. I think this is not even close to the best sandwich in Philly, let alone America. Anyways, let's get a pick-me-up to counteract the disappointing sandwich. And actually, they have like a little Lancaster County farm fresh little station here that's not currently open, unfortunately. Whenever they open up this net, keeping all these amazing Amish ingredients caged up, might do some shopping later. I gotta do it. I gotta get one of these amazing looking homemade pretzels. So hopefully this will save my breakfast experience. Hi, I'll just do one regular pretzel. All right, we are back. And you know I was not gonna leave Pennsylvania without getting a delicious pretzel, right? I mean, forget Auntie Anne's. This is where it's at. So it's super warm. Well, actually not as warm as it felt through the bag, but warm nonetheless. I kind of wish they gave me more salt crystals, but I suppose it is what it is. Look at that stretch of the dough. Look at that. Really good pretzels. You know, at first I was like, okay, I was expecting them to be more rich, to be more buttery, but then when I started to get to the salt crystals, once you eat that salt with the rest of the dough, it just completes the whole thing. So hence why I feel like they should salt these a little bit more liberally. The dough is just incredible. I mean, I know it looks oily. It's still plenty oily, trust me, but for some reason it doesn't taste super oily in your mouth. But the dough is just so fluffy and chewy. Like, they really do have the perfect chewy texture. They have a great dough recipe down here. And yeah, just generally a great experience, guys. And it's nice that they keep them nice and warm. Probably they're selling a lot of them so they don't sit out too long too. They can keep pumping them out fresh. They're served at the perfect temperature, and that's key. But guys, I think I'm gonna wrap up the review as I slowly finish this pretzel and my breakfast. But we came here to Reading Terminal mostly to try the famous Tommy DiNic's, and unfortunately it didn't really live up to expectations. And it's not just like, okay, maybe my expectations were too high. Oh, I heard best sandwich in America, so my mind was blown. But no, I mean, I've eaten there before. I mean, my brother took me there a few times and he even bought a t-shirt from the place. I just remember the pork used to be so much more moist and juicy and flavorful, and now it's quite dry, and I think they're kind of resting on their laurels. They're kind of coasting off of their name. So unfortunately, guys, I gotta say, DiNic's, it's kind of past its prime. It's no longer the restaurant it once was. I hope it returns to form someday, but I highly recommend you check out Reading Terminal sometime because this is a really cool place to hang out. A lot of tourists come here, but locals will eat here too as well. I definitely think that Reading Terminal is better than Chelsea Market. The quality of stuff here is just generally better. So if you enjoy Chelsea Market and have always considered coming to Philly for a trip sometime, I would definitely add Reading Terminal to your list. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do you think DiNic's is still worth the hype, or is DiNic's past its prime? And what are your favorite places to eat at in Reading Terminal or anywhere in Philly? And where do you think I should review next? Let me know in the comments because great minds eat alike. As always, if you like my videos, please like and subscribe. That way you stay up to date whenever I post another video. Gonna finish this delicious pretzel. So until next time, I'll see you later.